My name is Stephanie Stevens, and I'm a planner with the City Wheat Ridge Community Development Department. I'm presenting case number WZ-21-13, which is a request for approval of a specific development plan for construction of a 111,000 square foot lifetime fitness facility on 12.2 acres at 3501 Clear Creek Drive. The subject site is located on the west side of Clear Creek Drive, south of Clear Creek Drive and 40th Avenue intersection, within planning areas 5 and 6 of Clear Creek Crossing. The west side of Clear Creek Drive is entirely vacant currently, but several land use applications are in for review, including the Phase 2 of Outlook Apartments at the northernmost portion of Clear Creek Crossing and a Hampton Inn Hotel just south of the apartments and north of the Lifetime site. Jefferson County residences lie to the southwest of the site, and the Coors Pond is to the west. The I-70 hook ramps are located to the east. The 70 West Business Center Planned Commercial Development, PCD, is located to the south of the site, which includes the vacant property owned by Dwayne Richter. The subject site is located on the southwest portion of Clear Creek Crossing Planned Development, in Planning Area 5 and a portion of Planning Area 6, which is also called the Harvest District, denoting this area as a commercial subdistrict in the development. The site is surrounded by mixed-use and commercial plan development zoning to the north, west, and south. To the southwest lies Jefferson County residences. This request for SDP approval is the second step in a two-part approval process pertaining to plan developments. The first step occurred in 2018 when Planning Commission and City Council approved the Clear Creek Crossing Planned Mixed-Use Outline Development Plan, or ODP, which establishes the zoning. The zone change also included approval of a vision book that establishes the intended design and architectural themes and materials, as well as a design pattern book that includes the more substantive development regulations. An architectural control committee was established specifically for this Clear Creek Crossing development to ensure compliance with the design pattern book, third-party review, consistency across the project, and to conduct schematic design review prior to city's planning review. It's comprised of members representing both the developer and the city. The ACC has provided their recommendation of approval. The applicant is requesting to build an approximately 111,000 square foot building at about 6 stories in height and 41,400 square foot amenity deck on 12.2 acres. The primary use is classified as indoor and outdoor recreation, which is permitted in planning areas 5 and 6 of Clear Creek Crossing. In the ODP and design pattern book, these planning areas were divided in distinct planning areas primarily because of grade challenges and required shared access with Richter's parcel to the south. It was anticipated that these constraints would have required separate development lots with separate access. Through an iterative design process between the applicant and city, the developable portions of planning areas 5 and 6 have been combined to achieve a preferred design which accommodates the topography and meets the access and development goals of the underlying zoning. I'll show all of this in more detail on the next few slides, but the site also takes into consideration adequate vehicular access, planning area connectivity, connections to the trail, and pedestrian connections north and south. Starting with access, 2 points of access are proposed to connect to Clear Creek Drive on the north and south. The primary site access to the north will come from a private street that connects to the signalized intersection at 40th Avenue and Clear Creek Drive. A second direct driveway access to Clear Creek Drive is provided at the southernmost portion of the proposed Lifetime property to connect to the vacant site to the south. The access points will direct vehicles and pedestrians through a main drive which cuts through the middle of the site and lies between the building and parking area. The SDP shows the building and amenity deck situated on the west side of the site, with parking located in surface lots adjacent to Clear Creek Drive. Vehicular and pedestrian connections are provided throughout the site as shown in red and yellow, respectively, on the screen. There are 525 parking spaces total, which are broken up into smaller parking lots by way of internal street-like drives and screened from Clear Creek Drive by grading and landscaping. The grade on the site drops 10 to 20 feet below Clear Creek Drive. A 20-foot landscape buffer and setback is required along the southwest portion of the site adjacent to the residences shown in orange on the screen. Setback requirements are imposed by the design pattern book, and the lifetime building complies with those standards. The SDP also complies with all grading, utilities, drainage, and traffic plans. Multiple site constraints were balanced, including over 55 feet of elevation change across the site, a regional stormwater bypass system, a future regional trail corridor, and the relocation of the Applewood sanitary sewer interceptor. The site was ultimately laid out to balance earthwork while maintaining manageable slopes throughout the perimeter of the site. Rather than constructing large, obtrusive retaining walls, the site plan embraces the topography of the site by incorporating large rolling landscape buffers. To ensure that the rolling hill effect is achieved, staff has provided a recommended condition of approval to require periodic inspections of grading. The project far exceeds the minimum requirements for the 20% of the gross lot size to be landscaped by utilizing parking lot landscaping islands, as well as frontages and buffers for trees, shrubs, ornamental grasses, and perennials. The site plan is over 40% landscaped, largely comprised of bands of drought-tolerant native seeds and landscape screening at the perimeter of the site, with more formal planting beds framing the building foundation and site amenities. Utility corridors have prevented some tree plantings within landscape islands, but have been relocated elsewhere on site. Small retaining walls were added along the southwest of the site to avoid steep slopes. The area with the rolling hill effect will be primarily landscaped with native plantings. A public plaza and trail connection are proposed along the west side of the site to be constructed by the master developer under separate permit. The architectural style is driven by the Clear Creek Crossing Design Pattern Book and Vision Book, which call for a modern agrarian aesthetic that blends traditional agrarian forms and materials with a modern feel. It also requires strong attention to be paid to the pedestrian realm. The building is proposed to be approximately 60 feet tall, and the architecture is comprised of primarily brick, stone, metal panel, and glass. The materials carry over to the northwest and south elevations, resulting in four-sided architecture. The building form considers both the pedestrian realm and distant views, with trellis elements along the main entry and projecting elements utilizing varied materials at main focal points. Higher and lower areas of the building are accentuated using corner elements, changes to material, and architectural expression. Corners are anchored by brick masses with a contemporary take on traditional agrarian detailing. All facades visible from the street or public space incorporate reveals, belt courses, cornices, deep overhangs, repeating architectural expressions, color and textural changes, and articulation of windows and doorways. Overall facade transparency on the street-facing facade meets requirements of the design pattern book. This architecture has evolved throughout the review based on staff feedback, and materials provided in your packet show how the detailed standards are being met. Here's a perspective view from Clear Creek Drive looking west. The parking lot sits 10 to 20 feet below the street, so surface lot will not be so prominent. And here's a view from the trail on the west side. The trail also sits 10 to 20 feet below the site. The trail will be constructed by the master developer and will be required to be in place prior to certificate of occupancy. Since Wheat Ridge is not a full-service city, we sent the application on referral to outside agencies, including fire, water, and sanitation, as well as completed an internal review. We did not receive objections from outside agencies, and coordination with these districts is ongoing. Civil construction documents are nearing approval, and a plat is anticipated to come in soon. A recommended condition of approval has been placed to ensure the SDP matches the plat. Before the hearing, the property was posted for 15 days, and letters were sent to property owners and residences within 600-foot radius. No calls or emails have been received to date. Staff finds that the SDP is consistent with the zoning and is in compliance with all standards set forth in the ODP, Design Pattern Book, and City Code. The SDP is consistent with the purpose of a plan development, and all agencies can serve the property. Ultimately, staff is recommending approval of the request with conditions as listed in the staff report. That concludes my presentation. Thank you.